I know you're ready to get started, and we're going to get started soon enough. But before we do, I want to share with you a couple of things that I think are very important mindset shifts. My coaching style is a bit different from other people who tell you can just do the thing, copy the right cat, and you'll have the right level of success. I'm a little different, and my training is a little different because I believe in the transformation of the individual first before they do the act. How many of you have ever copied the right cat, but you still felt like an imposter? You still felt like you didn't do it, or your copy didn't come out as good as theirs. There's a reason for that. It's because the transformation has to take place in you first before you do the action. If you do not do the work of transforming your mindset, taking care of this before you do this, then the action will feel mechanical and the action will lack confidence, power, and passion behind it because you will not have the proper mindset. So that being said, before we go through this challenge, I know you want to get started and I want to get started with you. But let's go through 3 mindset shifts that I believe will be important. The first one is that whenever you're starting something new, you're not going to have full confidence in what you do. Whenever you start something new, you're like a baby. Regardless of how old you are biologically, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually, you'll be like a babe in this new area. And so you're going to be vulnerable whenever you start. Know this, appreciate this, recognize this, so that you will be coachable and you will lend yourself to the process and not feel like the first mistake you make is the end of the process. No, that's not the case. It's going to take time. There's a process to this. So endure the process and don't be thrown off by the first letdown or upset that you have. A second mindset shift. How was that, by the way? You got through that? The second mindset shift I want to share with you is that there is a system to exploring and expanding, and it uses the acronym LIFE, LIFE. We're going to go through that right now because you need to know this scientific method for getting past the F word, and that F word is failure. Failure has caused many of us to fear progress and moving forward, but it's unnecessary. You don't have to be held down by fear. So let's get into it. Learn, implement, fail, and evaluate. When you learn, you're positioning yourself to gain knowledge, soaking everything up like a sponge. Everything is a lesson. Position yourself to learn, right? But that's not everything. Knowledge isn't everything. It's the beginning. You actually have to implement, which is take action. Put the phone down, stop scrolling, dust off your feet, your boots, everything, and actually take action. That is the way you complete the learning cycle. You don't just gather information and think you're on another level. No, you have to act. Okay, so even when the action is imperfect, it's better to act imperfectly than to not act at all. Next is the F word, fail. Yes, I said fail. It's a part of learning. When we look at failure as a part of learning, it takes the sting out of it. Failing is a natural part of experimenting and stretching. You're only a failure when you sit still and let failure define you. And I wrote a post recently that failure cannot hit a moving target. And this is true. If you don't stop, you get up, dust yourself off, failure cannot hold you down to define you. Okay? And then the last part is evaluate. This is where many people go wrong. Many people miss this last part of the process. And because of that, they end at failure. And that ends the cycle. Well, today, that cycle is broken because you know the last part of the system, which is to evaluate. Don't just let a failure happen. A failure happened because of something. And when you evaluate, you go through, you create reports for yourself and evaluate why you failed. Understanding that a failure is not the end of the process, it's the beginning of the improvement. So when you evaluate, this is where many people mess up. They forget to evaluate what worked and what didn't work. Growth happens when you take time to learn from your experiences. All right, so make sure you have that. And the third mindset shift that I want to share with you that I believe will change your life, not just this challenge, is the belief cycle. There is a cycle to belief. There's a cycle to confidence. There's a system to growing your confidence. If you're not the best at first, that's okay. But here's what you need to do to become good and to become better and to become great. So it starts off with belief. First, you have to believe. And that belief might be lent to you through a coach or someone guiding you through. But either way, you need to start with belief. All right, that's the starting point. Henry Ford said that if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So whether you think you can do something or don't think you can do it, you've already won the consensus in the court of your heart, body, and mind. If you don't think you can do something, your body, heart, and mind will say no. Your feet won't move. But if you believe, you will spur into action. Potential is kind of like those toys where you wind them up, and when you wind them up and put them on the floor, they begin to move, right? So potential is that winding up process. Potential is that tension that forces you and compels you to eventually act, okay? So belief creates potential. Belief, in a sense, winds you up, and then you're put on the floor, you're put on the ground, and then you hit the ground running with action. You actually have to take action. Again, like we just discussed in the previous mindset shift, you actually have to take action. You can't sit there, can't scroll, can't rack up your toll of videos and think that you've changed. No, you have to put things in action, even imperfect action. Take it, do it. Even if you're scared, do it anyway. Action is the only antidote for the 1,000 what ifs in your mind. You ever sit back and think to yourself of all of the things that could go wrong? What if this happens? What if I'm late? What if I drop this? What if I can't clean it up? What if someone sees me? What if everyone starts laughing at me? The 1,000 plenteous what if scenarios. Remember, they're all imaginary. None of them actually happened. But there is only one what is. And you have to take that step out to find out what that one what is will be. And action is the only way to silence the what if stories in your mind. So you have to take action. And then what happens when you take action? You get results. Those results may be glorious, those results may be surprising, or they may be run-of-the-mill and mundane, or what was to be expected. But the only way to get results is through action. So when you get that result, now you have proof that you can do it. And that builds your confidence and belief even more. And with the new belief that your results just created, the cycle continues on until your beliefs and actions get you the success you want. So once you have that result, regardless of what anyone said, any opinion, that result is the result. And no amount of people's opinion can take away what you got as a result. Once you get through the belief cycle of believing, which winds you up, gives you that potential, then you take action, and then the action gets you the actual result. Then you have now, the next time you have to do something, you have that license to say, I did this before, let me apply that same cycle of belief to result. Let me apply that same cycle to this. Or you can do the same thing over and over, but each time you do it, you get better because you have more belief. And why do you have more belief? Because you're racking up results. And this is how the cycle works. And so as you do it over and over, you realize that you're refining your belief, you're refining your action, your results, and you're becoming more confident because you're racking up results. So don't listen to what anyone is saying out there. You have to take action. Belief, potential, action, results. Belief, potential, action, results. All right, so I hope this was eye-opening for you. I want you to get comfortable reaching out to the community or posting in the challenge. I know it sounds daunting and you don't want to put yourself out there, but it's a part of this process. It's a part of your growth. So the challenge for today, and I know the challenge didn't start yet, but yeah, there's always a challenge, and I'm one to always give a challenge. The challenge for today is post in the community where you are. How did you feel about the mindset shifts? Did you think they were necessary? Did you already know this? What's your experience? We would love to hear and support you. So post it in the community. Lean into the community, and the community will lean into you.